Abdur Kul Shayuat Biwa Samus Patimta. Begin all things by first using the all. Greetings, everyone. Today, I would like to share some information, with you for all the world to see. And this has to do with my affidavit of facts to the United Nuwapian Nations, and now called the Sabans. And this affidavit was submitted to them quite about a year ago, and I want to just share that with you so you can understand why I need the world to be a witness as to what's going on with this group. And so I will read. This is my affidavit of facts that was submitted to them. You can also see that on Calamea. And this affidavit has 3 pages and then a jurat, and at the end it's notarized, and it's all on Calamea that you can also follow up. So I'll begin to read. A matter must be expressed for being resolved. In commerce, truth is sovereign. Truth must be expressed in the form of an affidavit. An affidavit not rebutted stands as the truth in commerce. A truth affidavit of facts under commercial law can only be satisfied by truth affidavit rebutted point to point, by payment, by agreement, by resolution, or by common laws, rules, or by jury. Equality under the law is paramount and mandatory by law. Notice to principal is notice to agent. Also, Dr. Malachi Z. York addressing fake UNNM fraud Ian Blackfeather Tompkins, and that's on. You can also find that on YouTube. And so, notice to agent is notice to principal. So, fact 1, Dr. Malachi Z. York addressing the fake UNNM fraud Ian Black Eagle Feather Tompkins. You can watch that on YouTube to get some more clarity on that. Fact number 2, this planet has a caste system and is run by commercial law. Having a social security card, birth certificate, driver's license, passport, etc. are all forms of commercial law. I need more than an instruction form 19-1 application for naturalization issued by you to give indigenous standing at law. There is a process to having indigenous standing. Chief Nanya Shabu L. TM, his 5-day comment number 112 explains that, and you can find that on YouTube. That's 5-day comment number 112. Fact number 3, part 1 and 2 of Nuwabian Nation National Address on your Facebook videos, July 31st, 2016, uses the terms African American problems in America and why we need to use all of the wisdom of our Black Moorish leaders to solve our Black and Moorish, Form SF-181 from the U.S. Office of Personal Management, Guide to Personal Data Standards, Ethnicity and Race Identification section states, Black or African American is a person having origins in any of the Black racial groups of Africa. Black racial groups of Africa does not exist. American Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers, and you can find that online where they're explaining www.acrao, that's AACRAO.org/resources/compliance/IPEDS, reporting/definitions of new race and ethnicity. You can actually see that right here, the link, and that's on my Calamia page as well. It explains about categories of race and ethnicity. Also, an interview on the in an interview on the Tom Joyner show, morning show actually, Tom Joyner greeted former President Barack Obama saying, "It's our first black president of the United States." His response was, "Tom, I don't look at myself as the first black president because black has no standing at law." And there's a whole link there. You can actually just go on YouTube or go on the internet and you can find that article from the Tom Joyner morning show stating the facts by our former President Barack Obama. Okay, now fact number 4, I will read for you really quickly because this is my own, witnessing or my own experience with Duswa York. And so I contacted Duswa York several times between February of 2017 and July of 2017 in the attempt to receive an address and location information for the Dr. York Foundation School that he started and that he said was established in Kumasi, Ghana. Of all my attempts, I was able to speak to him twice by phone, and I also explained that I have seen the online videos of the York Foundation School that he has advertised in Kumasi, Ghana, and that I saw that he, the request for funding and for help for the school and for clothing, etc. I explained to him that it so happened that as I go to Ghana each year, and this particular year I would be in Kumasi. And so I explained that I would be able to give some help with the school, and in other words, who can I contact there to give my assistance for maybe about 3 weeks or more. I explained to him also that I was conducting a summer program teaching other children of high school ages in Kumasi during that period, and so I would love to do additional work for our York Foundation. Okay, so on my first conversation with him, he confirmed that he remembers who I am and that he is in an important meeting right now at that time, and so he promises to get back to me shortly. Also, I waited all day. He did not get back to me. That day ended. I had not heard anything. A whole month passed and still no response. I realized he was available on WhatsApp, email, and Messenger, and I did all of those. Emailed him, WhatsApp him, Messengered him, and no avail. I did not get any responses from him. One day in May, I tried calling him again, and that's May 2017. I tried calling him again and got through. Once again, he told me he's in a meeting and that he would get right back to me, and he promised me. Nothing happened. 2 months passed, and so over the next 2 months, I tried reaching out to him, no responses. I got to Ghana, once again tried contacting him, no responses. So I asked a brother and a few elders if they had any information for the address of that school, that York Foundation School in Kumasi, and everyone said no. Nobody knew anything. No elders knew anything. No brothers knew anything. However, someone was able to send a message to Duswa and told him that I'm trying to reach him and desperately need that information. And he told that brother that he will have someone who's on the ground in Ghana contact me and take me to the school. That never happened. So I actually left Ghana 4.5 weeks later, and no one contacted me, and actually complete silence from Duswa, who absolutely knew how to get in touch with me. I returned to New Jersey, only to see that barrels of clothing and many of the stuff that was collected by our group in New Jersey was still sitting there in the barrels, unsent anywhere. And no one had any address to send the stuff to in Ghana. Okay, so that's my experience with Duswa York. So I'm telling you this so that you can understand a little bit of my experience, and this I'm talking as, a fact. Okay, so Fact number 5, on January 1st, actually, yes, on January 1st, 2018, I paid cash money, $35, to Duswa York and filled out forms to receive a Nuwaubian national ID. I was told that I would receive that ID within 2 to 3 weeks. This is now, this affidavit that I submitted to the Nuwaubians was submitted to the UNN, was submitted on June 28, 2018. I still have not received that card. And so, I need that money refunded. So that's all stated in that affidavit, and other things. So on conclusion of my affidavit of facts, based on the above listed facts, I request all my original documents, whatever personal documents, driver's license, passports, social security cards, pictures, etc. I need them all returned to me. And any copies, all of them should be returned as soon as possible. I request any images of myself on your social media pages to be removed immediately. I request to be removed from your records as being a member of your UNN organization. I also request the return of my $35 from Duswa York for that national ID. Okay, so this notice, relief sought. I need my request above to be honored and the $35 returned from Duswa York. And also you have 10 days from the receipt of this letter to respond. This affidavit shall be posted online as an international public knowledge that you have been communicated with. You will be defaulted should you fail to respond in writing as required, and a certificate of commercial dishonor shall be issued to you. Okay, so this letter, and it's all notarized and was submitted to the United Nuwaubian Nations, and it was not returned. I had no response, nothing at all. This is the proof that they received it. It was received on July 23rd, was mailed on July 20th, and it was signed for and accepted on July 23rd, delivery confirmation. So that's July 2018.
Amen.
And so, on January 5th, 2019, notice of default, as I did state in my affidavit that this would follow if no response from them. So notice to agent is notice to principal, and this is now January 5th, 2019, and it says that I, Abena, declares the affidavit of facts to the UNN embassy and their affiliates on July 20th, 2018. Sorry about that. Okay, no response by the aforementioned parties, Duswa York, aka Damon Alvin Pryor, Victoria E. Broussard, Esquire, by acquiescence, lack of response, and no response to the affidavit. And this is all on Calumet as well. You can see my affidavit of default, on my notice of default, on Calumet as well. The parties to the contract entitled herein contract are in full agreement of the following. Abena is competent to state the matters included in her affidavit, has knowledge of the facts, and declares to the best of her knowledge the statements made in her affidavit are true, correct, and not meant to mislead. Abena is an indigenous female of Maroon descent. UNN Embassy, Duswa York, Attorney at Law Victoria E. Broussard, Esquire, are herein addressed in their private capacity, but in their public capacity are citizens and residents of the Corporation United States America, and was in participating in a commercial enterprise with co-business partners. The governing laws of this private contract is the agreement of the parties supported by the law, merchants, and applicable maxims of law. Abena is at no time has willingly, knowingly, intentionally, or voluntarily agreed to subordinate their position as creditor through signature or words or actions or inactions. Abena at no time has requested or accepted extraordinary benefits or privileges from the UNN embassy and affiliates, the United States, or any subdivision thereof. And there's more. This is all on column A. You can see the rest. And here it says, respondents have 10 days to respond to the notice of default. Lack of written response, no written response, no respondents in aforementioned time, then a certificate of commercial dishonor shall be issued to respondents. Abena will pursue further commercial remedy and recourse once the certificate of commercial dishonor is issued. Okay, and so this is my notarized page for my notice of default, and also this is my receipt for that notice of default being sent, and my tracking information and everything. Okay, and that was received on the 10th of January. So on March 23rd, 2019, I sent out my notice of my certificate of commercial dishonor, and this is my receipt for it. It was sent, mailed, and my tracking information. By the way, all of this can be seen on Calumet. Did I say that before? You can view this all on Calumet. Just go to Calumet and look for Abena and Nzinga, and you will find it there, or Abena Golding. You'll find it there. And my certificate of commercial dishonor was mailed, just as I promised in my prior document to them. In my notice of default, I did say that this would come if I had not received a response. So no response, so my certificate of commercial dishonor was sent. Okay, and it's fully notarized, as you can see. Okay, 2 pages. And so on this third attempt to reach to them, they returned my certificate of commercial dishonor. And so this says RTS return to sender. See that? And so it was addressed to them, but they returned it. Okay, so being that's returned to me, still no response to my affidavit, and so all my requests still stand. All the commitments that are owed to me still stands, and so I will read a little bit of my commercial certificate of commercial dishonor. It says, be it known that the indigenous, autochthonous, living spirit female autographing below is Abena Makiba Golding. Mailing location and my address is there as well. On July 20th, 2018, I sent an affidavit of facts to the United Nuwaubian Nations via registered tracking number, and the tracking number is there as well as on Calumet. And confirmed delivery was on July 23rd, 2018. Then again, on Calumet also states that on January 8th, 2019, notice of default via UPS tracking number, the tracking number is there as well, and also posted on Calumet those documents, and confirmed delivery on January 10th, 2019. Also, I'm on Calumet is the information loaded document showing that on the Admiralty/Maritime claim for damages via UCC 3-305 to the United Nuwaubian Nation, and all that must be notified as notice to principal is notice to agent. Notice to agent is notice to principal. In accord with the Uniform Commercial Code, UCC 1-103, the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, UNDRIP, United Nations Human Rights Charter, United Nations Convention on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, United Nations International Decade for People of African Descent, Presidential Executive Order 13107. So, dishonor by non-performance. This instrument serves as notice UCC 1-202 and does publicly, privately, and solemnly certify authentic and perfect the dishonor against United Nuwaubian Nation and all others as it may concern for liability equivalent to the face value of this instrument and all costs, damages, and interest occurred or hereafter incurred by commercial judgment. International notice: the undersigned creditor, in fact, certifies that on January 10th, 2019, delivery to United Nuwaubian Nation on January 10th, 2019, a copy of notice of default, all the tracking information, all of that, affidavit of facts confirmed July 23rd. So here are the penalties and accruing obstruction damages. Beginning January 10th, 2019 to present, January 10th, 2019, and counting until verified confirmation receipt of all property listed, $500,000 per day. Okay, caveat: this does not represent full penalties, and secured party may add additional penalties due to lack of response from the debtors. Okay, and my certificate of commercial dishonor is all notarized, and I just want for all of you to see and for all of you to be witness to see what I have gone through, and so that anyone else that may come across this group may understand what fraudulent activities they're up to, and especially the names I mentioned. I hope that this should never happen to you. However, in the meantime, I want you to understand that this group calls themselves and the members of their group to be Black and to be African Americans, whereas the databases shows and Chief Nanya Shabo L's information to them and to the world shows the meaning of Black and African American. And so when you look at that reading, people of melanite skin, as we are definitely not Black, and we're definitely not African American unless you choose to be so. However, when you look at the information that describes what we are classified as white. I myself am indigenous, I'm autochthonous, and I am white, okay? I am white, and I am also sharing information with you in case you want to get more information on this and you want to also look into fixing your racial status. If you are not of that status and you would like to learn more, you can also go online or you can email to this Sa Aset Taret at atsikatim@gmail.com. It's right here. That's the email address. And you can request to be on their webinar where they'll explain more and you can ask questions. With that, I'd like to say Abid Gadur, Abid Gadur, Abid Gadur, white power, white power, white power.